Well, good afternoon, folks. Papa D coming to you once again to go over the day's events and just talk about the last couple of days relating to the completion of the Republican National Convention and some other events surrounding that. Before I bring in my co-host today, though, I've got a couple short clips to show you. I want to thank the Republican National Committee for posting the videos, and we give full credit to them. But just a couple of pieces that you might have missed had you not stayed up late on Thursday night.
Delegates and fellow citizens, I stand before you this evening with a message of confidence, strength, and hope. 4 months from now, we will have an incredible victory, and we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Together, we will launch a new era of safety, prosperity, and freedom for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. The discord and division in our society must be healed. We must heal it quickly. As Americans, we are bound together by a single fate and a shared destiny. We rise together or we fall apart. I am running to be president for all of America, not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half of America.
All right, folks, and that was the beginning portion of the acceptance speech. And I brought in the other half of this little discord. Angela, you there?
I'm here.
Now, let me punch up the volume just a little bit for you. We'll try that again one more time.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you. You're good. But that was the beginning of the end of the final day of the Republican National Convention. Again, thank you to the Republican National Committee for that. And got the other clip I want to show later on, too, Ange, the walkout when the president came out. That was pretty exciting. But before we get too heavy, I've got a lot of things to get into today. I wanted to kind of get your thoughts right there. What's your overall thoughts of the 4-day event and certainly the excitement of how it all ended up?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if we have enough time. The whole entire convention was just that. It was a summarization, so to speak, of what the Republican Party at this juncture during this political season feels, what they're about, what they strive for America. And I think everyone from, senators and business owners and all the everyday Americans who share their story, down to, night 4 and Trump's lengthy speech, a needed lengthy speech, I feel like. Yeah, I was hanging on by the end, but if he's not giving up, I can do it. I can make it through. He's 78 years old, so I think it showed really and truly, especially when he first came out, that first 10 minutes of his speech, he has been humbled by the events that happened a week ago. And you can tell in his voice, you can tell in his walk. It has humanized him in front of millions of people. So many millions of people watched night 4. I think it was the highest recorded viewership for a Republican convention. So that was incredible. I think a lot of people can resonate with what everyone was discussing. I know Eric Trump was up there and he had, his speech was incredible. It makes you feel like, maybe we are in this together. Maybe, he's the guy. And I think that's what they wanted to do was, bring everybody in and say, look, this isn't just, business owners and, senators and all that. This is everyone is in this together. And I think that's what they really did get across.
Right, right. The it's the rich against the poor, it's the powerful against the weak. That doesn't fly anymore. And that wasn't what came across. The clip I played very clearly, he made the comment that has never been really made before, and to bring it across party lines, and not just party lines, but all different lines and all different demographics, that he wants to be the president for everybody. He's not. This is not a one-sided game anymore, because we've got so much going on in the world. Just every day it's something new. I just read an article just now that NATO is concerned. Iran within 3 weeks is going to have nuclear capability, nuclear material capability. Here we go again. We can look back to when President Trump was in office, and those things didn't happen. They were stopped before they got out of hand. But exuding that we're all in it together, like you said. This is a group fight, and with the administration we have right now, unfortunately, it's not going to be a good fight, and it's also problematic just because of to beat a dead horse, poor choice of words, but the president is having a rough time these days within his own party, of course. But it was definitely an exciting event. And I just want to play, too. Again, I pulled a couple clips down. We'll give full credit to the Republican National Committee for putting them out. But, Anja, I don't know if you've got a monitor up, but I'm going to play just a couple seconds of the opening where the president came out, which I think you can agree was pretty phenomenal. I, for one, got chills when that one came up, when that happened. So I just want to run that out real quick, just to give everybody a sense of, that didn't get to see it, a sense of how his speech began. If I can just bring up the right button. Too many buttons. And you're sitting there. Entrance, and then the hour and a half that followed, something's wrong. But just the moment he went over to my opinion, the fallen heroes duty uniform, who, by the way, was just buried yesterday. I want to make sure I get it right.
I know, I did see that, and it was emotional.
Just emotional. Corey Comparatore, and I probably butchered that name, and I'm sorry, but he was laid to rest yesterday. Billy Ray Cyrus came out to pay respects and I guess to perform there and spend time with the family and mourn with them. But having his gear on the stage and having him represented there after so bravely giving his life for his own family, which any of us would do, I would hope. I would believe anyway. But that was just amazing. But a well put together entrance, certainly. The Republican National Committee did an awesome job there. But we'll get back to it. I know that I wanted you to kind of come in on that. You had done a little bit of background on the stats and things. I just saw a CNN poll, which you'll probably, if you touch on, it blew my mind what they're talking about when CNN starts talking about it. But you go ahead with what you dug up, because it's starting to become the matter of course. We're seeing it all the time.
Yeah, I think in light of everything that's going on, and a lot of people, even if you didn't really, you weren't decided yet, or maybe you're still not decided whether, what party you're going to be voting for. I think a lot of people did tune in, and just from what I saw on X, over the course of the 4 days of the convention, 2.2 billion impressions on X. So 2.2 billion people were mentioning it in their posts or their videos, and that's just incredible. And then throughout
Not
those 4
millions,
days,
folks,
again,
billions.
right, 18.6 million people watched the convention in some shape or form, whether, all the way through, or they came in, one night versus the other night. 18.6 million just on X. That's not, live streaming on YouTube or watching, a news network. That is just on that platform alone, and that's worldwide, Dad.
Yeah.
So people around the world are tuning in. They are paying attention to what this is shaping out to be, and that goes, right along with what we talked about in the last video. How are we viewed as a whole nation to these other nations? And I think what they conveyed at the National Convention for the Republicans was that unity that we talked about before. And I think a lot of people resonated with that, and a lot of people feel the same. So it's going to be interesting to see. I know Trump and Vance have a rally today. It is going to be indoors. I think, in light of the situation that's happened, I think that's the safest route to go for now.
Absolutely.
Possibly in the entire future of the rallies until the election. But it's going to be interesting to see what they have to discuss today, and moving forward. How are they going to build off of that? That was a monumental 4 days, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that for those of you that are looking to watch that, the rally is taking place. If the time is still the same, it's supposed to be at about 5 o'clock. That's going to be Cedar Rapids, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I do believe, yeah, it's in Michigan.
Yep, Cedar Rapids at 5 o'clock, and both the president and the hopefully soon-to-be new vice president. And again, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. It's clear where our position is, but we are also trying to present fairly everything. And we're going to be looking very carefully, and we've got about a month. DNC convention's coming up on August 19th through the 22nd in Chicago. And we will present how that goes. And I've got a little piece I'd like to, I'll get Angie's input on that. But the comparison between this coming Democratic National Convention and the Democratic National Convention of 1968. It is kind of tuning itself up to be a real wing bang. Just absolutely some insanity. We'll see where it all goes, though. The Democratic Party has 31 days or 30 days now to figure out what their plan of action is. But as of this morning, I think it was maybe 6 hours ago, I saw a report where President Biden and his campaign folks have indicated that it's full steam ahead. And we wish them and the party the best in putting that all together. They certainly have a very short period of time to put it all together. And right now, the troops are not rallying. So it'd be very interesting to see how this plays into the convention. But I cut you short on that thought, Angie, but I'll get more into the 1968 comparison here in a bit. But that's back in my era. So
Right. That was a little before my time. I didn't get really, into politics. I remember watching my first convention. I think I was like 2 or 3. So it's been a while.
That would be it. That would be it. Yeah, we made sure that uh, the, the girls were, whether they liked it or not at the time, they got to see just about everything that was going on when it came to the political arena, which is very important, and I think that's an important thing for everybody to do. An informed voter is
It
a
is.
good voter.
Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, the CNN poll that they just put out, I believe was this morning. My time stamps here are off a little bit, but they had potentially at this point in time a Republican win by an electoral count of 330 plus if we went off today. And
Wow.
it's phenomenal. It's really phenomenal. We've already talked about it, but the states that are out there that shouldn't be in play at all have just gone and flipped. At least from the polling perspective. And again, we've got 4 months
Right.
to go.
From
A lot happens. A lot
right.
can happen. But this is shaping up to be I'll downplay it, an interesting November.
Oh, very, very interesting to say the least.
Right.
I think the fact that some of these swing states are turning one side or the other more prominently, it's just it's kind of like if you preach it long enough, it's you can vote, you can vote, you can vote, and then people actually do get interested and they do start paying attention because of what they're living through in their lives right now and how it's affecting them. Um, you can't fault folks for following their heart. And I think a lot of people in America, at least this go around, have dialed in and they have dialed in hard. And I think social media has a lot to do with that too. People
Right.
can reach out to people, and especially like on X, it's more widely available to them whenever they are available. And I think that's made the big difference. Even
Absolutely.
more so than in 2016 and in 2008. Now I think we're at a supercharged area where social media is like people go to social media more than they go to these news channels.
Well, I think people trust the social media avenues more than the standard media channels because of what they have become over the years. And if you let's be
Hmm.
honest, you want to watch the conservative position, you've got one or two main channels to go to, and broadcast media has played to the other side, lack of a better way to put it. But one
Right.
thing I want to just reiterate: we don't, it's you can't say I don't care who you vote for because we certainly all have our team player and who we think we would be better off with. But we just want people to vote. We want people to be informed.
Hmm.
It is that this year is that important. Every year is that important. Your local elections are important. Your school board elections are important. But when you're talking about a year like this, where there's so much going on in the world. Wars are breaking out all over. Like I said, we've got Iran over there doing their thing, and we've got China, we've got Taiwan going on. There's so much going on that we need a strong leader. Now, if you believe the strength is in the current administration, as much as anyone might disagree with you, that doesn't matter. You vote what you think is right, and then we live with the repercussions of that.
Right.
Goes both directions. And that's what I've always taught my kids. It's what I've always told people. I remember when my mom was alive, she never voted. And one day we had a discussion, and she was complaining about the state of being. I forget who was in the White House at that time. And I said, "You don't get to talk. You didn't vote. Don't want to hear it."
Right.
And kind of put her back on her heels. But not to be mean, but that has always been my position. You have a God-given right and a right by the country as a citizen to vote. You take advantage of it, or you shut your pie hole. Now, you still have the right to talk. You
Exactly.
have your First
You
Amendment
can't
rights.
change anything unless. Sorry.
No,
You
you're
can't
good.
change anything in the world unless you are, a subject of that change.
Yes.
You got to practice what you preach. And I know that's so cliche to say, but it's the truth. I mean, and that's with everything in life. I mean, you can't tell people I'm a doctor and you've never gone to medical school. You're going to walk the, you gotta do everything. If you say, well, I don't believe in this. Okay. Why? Or if I didn't vote, why?
Right.
If you're going to sit there and complain about the taxes and, all these little nitpicky things or big things, you got to inform yourself and you got to take action for you.
If you want to complain about taxes, then do something about it at the ballot box. If you don't want to vote for someone who will change the situation and maybe listen to your point of view, then pay the taxes. Don't complain.
Right.
But that's one thing I will preach. Just look into the parties, look into the candidates. Don't just go by, well, he's got more money than the other guy. He must be more powerful. I don't like him because he flies in an airplane, a private airplane. Or, I don't like him because he stumbled on the stairs. Look into what they stand for. Look into the values of that candidate. Look into the values of the party and make an informed decision based on the realities of the situation. And that's all we ask. Like I said, we can sit here and tell you. You can pretty tell by the tone of where we come from and what we think and who we would prefer to see. But that's after looking hard at all the issues and looking at the current state of the affairs of the country and of the world. So
exactly.
That's my spiel.
Right. I agree. I mean, there are people who firmly, follow what their family has followed for decades, and that is absolutely okay. That is your choice. And then there are folks who, like I, said in the last video, who have never voted before. They've never felt like it's going to make a difference or, anything's bad enough where I need to make a stand or, make my voice heard in that way. And I think now with everything that's going on in the country, it's affecting every single American in some shape or form. And I think a lot of people have finally woken up and said, okay, you know what? I have a voice and that's my vote for who I'm going to vote for president and vice president and Congress.
Right.
Maybe that's going to compel people to get involved locally in their communities too.
Yep. No, when you step into that ballot to the ballot box and you pull the curtain shut, that's your chance to speak. And if you don't, if you elect not to, if you elect to sit at home, and that's one thing I would tell everybody, this is not the year to sit home, folks. Whatever side you're voting on, and especially this is going to be the year that the independents really play out. And your process as an independent and who you believe will do the best for this country, who will get us through the turmoil that's going on in this world right now, you're going to be the ones to maybe not fully decide, but it's going to play into the ultimate outcome. So you got to get out and do it. But just you got 4 months, folks. Get out there, and please, when November comes, if you're going to early vote, if you're going to wait to go to the box like we all do, I look forward to Election Day myself, getting out there and getting in line and doing my civic duty. But do it. However you put that vote in, please put it in. But what do you think, Ange? Time for a little history lesson?
I'm always down for a history lesson. Let's do it.
Can I preach? No. Was thinking about this morning. Well, actually, last night. When you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, what else do you think about other than politics? But
it happens to the best of us.
Absolutely. This election, in my mind, I was thinking back to, and this has been mentioned on television a little bit also, of course. I'm not the first one to come up with this idea. But I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express one time. Then there's no monetary remuneration for saying that. Back in 1968, tumultuous time in American history, the Democratic National Convention was held in Chicago, I believe, that year. I want to go back and double check. I've got 3 conventions in my mind right now. And yes, that was also in Chicago. So we've got a parity there. In 1968, the president at that time was Lyndon Baines Johnson. Lyndon Baines Johnson, as you may or may not know, took over as president 3 years earlier when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Lyndon Baines Johnson was the vice president, was not really well liked, had a lot of baggage, but he became president, and he appointed Hubert Humphrey. Make sure I got my notes right, because I'm getting old too. As his vice presidential, the vice president. Now, tumultuous time. Vietnam War, the riots, race riots going on. There was just a whole lot. It was a very, very rough time in American history. And LBJ's numbers were horrible. He was not liked as president. You can say many reasons. I mean, he was not voted into office. The country lost a very beloved president when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And just not a very well-liked president. So by the time it came at a close and the re-election would have come up, LBJ decided he wasn't running. He backed out. And, of course, now we go to the Democratic National Convention, which was the last, what I would call, broke election this country has seen before the one I believe we got coming up in a month. During that election, or during that convention, there was 9, I believe, declared candidates that were vying for the party nomination for president. And obviously, Hubert Humphrey, as the VP of that prior administration, was given the nod, along with Senator Edmund Muskie as his vice presidential candidate. There was a number of other candidates involved there. McCarthy was the number 2 vote getter at the convention. If you know the name McCarthy and McCarthyism, he was the senator that basically saw a communist around every corner and persecuted and led committees to persecute many, many people that during the great communist scare. At that time, you had George McGovern was involved. Edward Kennedy ran, received a very small percentage of votes. Bear Bryant, if you follow sports, and a couple. George Wallace was in there also, and a couple of individuals that were known well to the in the political ranks, in the circles. At the end of the day, again, Hubert Humphrey was voted in by the end tally, along with Edmund Muskie. They ran against a Republican, first-time candidate by the name of Richard Milhouse Nixon. So we have a president not liked, a vice president equally not liked, who ran, the vice president ran and was knocked out quite handily by the Republican candidate that year. And we will not get into how that ended up, but the similarities in this
That's
situation.
a whole other episode.
Yeah, we're not going in. That's a different episode. We can talk about that another day. But at the end of the day, when you look at the similarities of that convention, you have a broke convention and the possibilities of what we're going to have. We don't know what we're going to see during the Democratic convention. We all suspect it is going to be interesting at the very least. But the similarities between 68 and 24, I think, are quite evident. And it just shows when public opinion and the polls start to indicate things that you have to pay attention. We don't pay attention 100% to polls, but things are starting to look that way. And, again, Humphrey believed, I think, at that time as the vice president that that was an easy walk-in, step-in, and it didn't work out that way. What we have this year we don't know what we have. President
Right.
Biden has said, I'm in for the win. Kamala Harris, I'm with Joe. About 30 senators, not so much. The Democratic Party, not so much. So I would say when you watch the Democratic National Convention here in a month, pay attention to how that unfolds. Kind of make your own comparisons, compare and contrast, as I was always told when I had to write reports in college. I was more a contraster than a comparer. But this will be, I think, a very similar situation, and it could turn out to be very simplistic. It could turn out to be a very ugly battle, especially since the Biden camp has locked in the votes that would have them have him placed as the party nominee. For a break from that would be historical, lack of a better way to put it. So just keep that in mind. I just wanted to throw that out there because history tends to repeat itself. And I see similarities to these two events. But we'll get into, we'll do another show about the downfall of Richard Nixon. That's, you know.
Oh, that might be a 2 or 3 part series, Dad, to be honest.
That's a long one. When I hear there was a news reporter recently that made a remark, and he called what was going on in the Biden White House, all these discussions about China and all these things going on out there, and he called it the Biden Watergate, and I went, wow, not yet anyway. I was there.
You know
Watergate.
what though? I remember saying, I think to my husband, night one or day, it was day one. Yeah, I'll keep him for a while. I like him. But I said that very same thing to him, and it's eerily similar. I mean, not every single instance and circumstance of what's going on within the party right now and really in the White House regarding Biden and but I think there's so many eerily similar things that I think a lot of people in the party are starting to take notice of, like you had just described about the similarities with Nixon and that election. And they don't want that for themselves. And who would, I mean, they put all this effort in there. You want your guy to win. That is the whole point of this. You do not want to fail. And I think a lot of these people do not want to fail, but they also want to keep their jobs in the process. It's a really scary thing when you got, a pink slip coming at you in a couple months, but it happens,
happens to the common man, the common woman also.
Right. And I think rightfully so that, they're saying, hey, maybe there's something we should do. But honestly, and this is, my opinion, take it or leave it. But I think to pull the plug on Biden running as the candidate for the president of the United States for the Democratic Party, I think to pull him out now would make them look even worse overall for the fact that, okay, now we don't have our stuff together. We're not backing our president or, our candidate. People within our party, senior Democrats, are now raising eyebrows and speaking out and saying things. I think it's just a bad look overall. If you're going to stick with someone and you chose him and, he's got all the delegates and all these things, I think, stand by your man kind of thing, like don't just throw in the towel. I get the whole point is to win. It's a tricky thing, really. It's very tricky.
It's a slippery slope. You're absolutely right. I mean, what do? You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't at this point. You pull the plug, or the party's right now, it's like a circular firing squad. And they fire the round and they're all going down. You stick with your guy, who you've backed up for years, and if we're not even going to get into a debate on his cognitive abilities right now. We all know the things.
No, that's besides the point right now.
I'm not here to debate that. You can watch all the news media coverage of that you want to. I know what I've seen. You know what you've seen, and we're going to leave it alone. But with that being said, you take out your guy of the race, you place someone else in, whether it's Kamala or whomever. Well, there's two issues right there. You place Kamala in, she's liked less than he is, so you've done yourself in maybe on that side of it. But that's the only way they can get to the money, to the financial war chest that they've got, because she's on the ticket. If they don't put her in and they decide to plug someone else in, and somehow the delegates go along with that, a whole new set of worms there.
No.
Well, then you've got an issue. You looked over the female black vice president, and why did you do that? So it's almost safer. Hate to say this. Well, there's two things. It's safer to stay the course with who you got, even though you know
Right.
this should have been resolved more than just a few months ago or 6 months ago. Or, and on the other side, the conservative party, the conservatives, the Republican Party, we would certainly be more adept at going against Joe Biden than anyone else.
Right.
It just creates a whole can of worms, and that's where this
And Dad,
convention
you
is
have to
going to be
mention too,
fascinating.
he has to, Biden has to be the one to say, I'm done and I'm stepping down and I'm giving the nomination to whoever or up to the delegation at the convention. If he is telling the news media, he's telling his family, he's telling his aides, I am the guy and I am running and I don't care what you say or how you feel, that stinks, but this is what's happening and I'm running. That's his right.
Yep. If he's not going to take his marbles and go home, that is his right to do it.
You made your bed. Right. You made your bed and now you got to lie in it. You put the guy up there and he was supposed to be transitional. Okay, fine. He's in there and it's not looking so great. So you're mad about it. Okay, well, you guys voted him in there.
And honestly, in our defense too, if this were to happen on the other side of the coin, let's say all these things didn't happen, with all that Donald J. Trump has gone through with the court cases and the felonies and all that jazz, all that stuck, and it's didn't fall apart the way we knew it would. And now they're saying, well, you got to stick with this guy, and he didn't have a chance, and you know where. Yeah, you made your bed, you lie with it. Your delegates have chosen. Now you got to play. We would be playing the same game on reverse, and they'd be okay with that.
Exactly.
So, I don't. Again, you don't want to go back and say, well, yeah, I'd prefer to have the country run by a guy who isn't sure who his vice president is, doesn't know whether his head of Secret Service is female or male. And all this is going on, and I'd rather have him with his hand on the button. But that's the cards that they dealt themselves. And you're absolutely right, Ange. It's his call. If he's surrounded by 30 senators and the whole world that's saying, get out, get out, get out, it's his call. That's the way the game is played. Right. That's the way politics are. That's the way the system is. So now I've got a personal feeling about that. I think if we get through the next 72 hours, sorry about that, hand in the way. If we get through the next 72 hours without Joe Biden saying I'm out, I'd be amazed. That man is under a huge amount of pressure. He's not well. He's been ill-advised by just about everybody around him. I think.
Right, and I think that's a shame. It's such a shame to see that happening to anybody. You hate to see it.
Absolutely. I've said that. I don't care who you like or who you don't like. That man is the president of the United States and deserves better. And he deserves, when it came out, a comment came out in the media, and I haven't confirmed it anywhere, of course, but that a remark was made possibly by a high-ranking member within the party, who shall remain nameless, made a comment that either he gets out now, preserves his legend, or his legacy, or if he stays in, he won't have a presidential library. And, veiled political threats do not work, especially with a man that is clearly
Wow.
not on top of his game. So,
I think, if a lot more people were really concerned with his health and making sure that, they're there for him in a human, just the humanity of being there for each other and caring for each other. I think if a lot more people practice that, I think, obviously the world would be a better place, but I think he would be in a better place. It sucks. It sucks. And I think anybody, if you're a Republican and that was your situation, clearly it's not right now. It is on the Democratic side, but if you want everybody to come to your side of the court and play ball with you, you don't just throw your main player under the bus. Hate to use that analogy, but it's the truth. You gotta stick with the guy. You just gotta stick with him, whether you like it or not. Whether you're mad about, oh no, my job, whatever. Stick with him. Respect him enough to do that.
At least give him that opportunity and don't pressure him in that manner. But again, we're not on the inside. We're not playing, playing the ability to play those cards. We just hear what we hear.
Right.
We hear what the media gives us, but it's certainly not a fair situation. It's not a good situation. It's something I hope they resolve. Excuse me. But and it's going to play itself out one way or another because, again, in 30 days, the Democratic Party has got to make decisions based on what the president decides to do or not to do. And I would just hope that his inner circle and his family, including his family, would be very supportive and help him make the right decision, not just push their agenda, for lack of a better word. So we hope for the best on that. But no matter how it plays out,
right,
the convention is going to be, I think, very interesting. I hope everybody gets a chance to catch some of it. I know I'll be watching as much of it as I can, as much as we all can handle. But it will be an interesting event, and we'll know in 30 days who the candidate officially will be. And then the hard and fast, hardcore campaigning begins. And with respect to the Republican team, it officially starts, I think, officially today. First rally post-convention.
Right.
Two little things I just wanted to kind of follow up on. There's still a whole lot going on with respect to the investigation, of course, and this is going to be going on for a while, relating to the the shooter. I know there's a whole lot online that I've been reviewing. They're talking to teachers, they're talking to ex-students, friends. They said he was bullied, all that kind of stuff's coming out. But the questions still are coming through about how it all happened. We're not going to dig too deeply into that, only because there's just so much up in the air right now. But we've been hearing the same questions. How did he get up there? People were taking pictures of him. He was in a prone position. How the weapon got there? The report came out that he'd flown a drone over the facility, over the area, prior, and that wasn't stopped. He had a rangefinder, and that was never addressed. No one ever questioned him about that. I've even heard, the conspiracy theory, people are coming out of the woodwork. There was a second shot, second gunman. It's like, okay, I've seen nothing that leads to that, but that came out.
Right.
Kind of a
I heard
throwback
that one too.
a throwback to the Kennedy assassination. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of investigating that has to go on. I know they've taken the parents' house apart. They're really trying to dig hard. I think the most recent update on what they're trying to get to, they got into his phone, but now they found 3 offshore bank accounts, encrypted bank accounts, and they're trying to get into that and find out what that's all about. For a 20-year-old individual with 3 offshore accounts, makes one think a little bit. I'll take pause on that one.
Something's fishy.
Yeah. So there's a lot more yet to be told, and we're going to be following on that, and I think that's going to be part of our updates, Ange, if you would agree, as we get further down this road and get further into the rabbit hole, I guess. But this individual, who I haven't been mentioning his name. I didn't think it was proper to give anyone that would do something like that any kind of credit or any kind of fame, I guess. But I will say it once. But Thomas.
Yeah,
Matthew
any
Crooks,
recognition whatsoever.
and that's all we're going to say. I will mention his name, 20-year-old Matthew Crooks, and that's the last time we will call him the assailant, the assassin, attempted assassin. But one thing I do want to say is I know his parents and his family are probably going through a nightmare. And I hope if they can find any peace, that they do. But this story yet has a whole lot to unfold. And we will follow that closely.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe on the next episode we'll have a little bit more hard evidence, a little bit, not evidence, but hard facts. There's so much junk out there. Weeding through it is kind of tough, and I refuse to repeat something that at least someone hasn't taken the time to verify for us. So we'll hope for the best. All we do know right now is that I think I need to go out and get myself one of those American flag ear covers because I need to show some solidarity. I'm told I have to make one. I do not have the artistic talents. If anyone out there can leave me a comment that you can tell me where I can get one, I would be more than happy to get one and wear it on the next episode. What do you think?
I'm down.
You down with
I
that?
actually saw, I saw a delegate on the Republican National Convention floor that was wearing one.
Yeah, they were putting those on. They were putting a Band-Aid on their ear. They were putting on a piece of tape.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was awesome.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's the hero of so many people, and what better form of flattery than to emulate somebody that you find to be that status of a human being. And if they want to do it, and if you want to rock that thing, it's like wearing your favorite T-shirt of your favorite singer or your favorite wrestler or whatever. I mean, it's, hey, I'm with this guy and I think he's great and I want to be like him. I mean, a lot of people feel like that, and I think that's great.
All right. I don't know if you got a monitor up, Ange, but and I am paying homage to a hero of mine. I'm wearing my SpaceX shirt today.
There we go.
Elon, great guy, amazing man. Again, you guys want to stop by Dave Deliver Space? That's our other channel. We do the launches and all the live feeds and all that kind of stuff. Love every second of it. We got some great folks out there subscribing to our page. But Elon's most recent take was that he is donating $45 million monthly to the Trump campaign to help elect him president. Whether you're a party man or not, party woman, party person. Got to be politically correct. Yeah, I'm dodging around on that one. I'm almost 64 years old.
Okay.
I get to dodge and duck and dodge a little bit. And we all know
That's
that.
all right.
I don't know how what is that, Ange? I have to identify. Do I have to identify myself these days?
Oh yeah, I don't do any of that.
I think I'm gonna identify as a bell pepper.
Okay. I don't know. I'm feeling kind of. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you? What? I don't know. That's a whole other thing. How do you? I don't get it, but it's I don't know.
I identify as an old bald guy with an attitude. Case closed.
There you go. I mean, I'm just here living it.
Yeah. Well, I think we've walked away from that from the topic of discussion there briefly, but that is my right. Our channel, my right. So since I control the
Right.
board.
That is absolutely fair. Hey,
But,
you're the
guys,
CEO, Dad. I mean,
I don't know what I am. I'm something. I'm something. I just like to get out here, and I just want to tell anybody who comes out to see. We're still in the growing stage. We've got picked up a couple of hundred subscribers. People are starting to come out and spend time with us and enjoy. We're just here to talk about the events, and as we go through the election season, I just want to spend some time giving a different point of view. Try to stay middle of the road. It's obvious, I'm not going to go out there and have to tell you who my paycheck is posted on, but we want everyone to at least take an honest look at the candidates, at the conditions, at the just look hard and make a decision and decide to vote. Don't look at the rhetoric. Don't listen to the rhetoric. Look at the facts. And that's what this channel really is all about. And we're going to divest from that. It's not all just politics, but my God, there's so much politics to talk about. We could sit here and have a discussion about that we could put 2 or 3 episodes a day, but we'll try not to.
oh yeah.
To do that. But just if you have a chance to look, we've got a couple of episodes up. We're going to try to post at least 1 or 2, maybe a week if we can, and keep the updates flowing. We'd love to have comments. We'd love to have you subscribe and like the page. We just got the page kind of updated with banners and the lead-ins and all that. So trying to make it look good and be very functional. But please like and subscribe. Comments, leave your comments. We just don't want to hear from people that agree with us. If you have a question, if you have a comment, if you have a different point of view, we'd love to talk about it. We don't want to be ranted at. We don't want to be yelled at. We don't want to have a one-sided scream fest or any of those things. Discussion is the key. Those who discuss, those will be knowledgeable people who will make good decisions. That's all we can ask. So leave your comments.
Right.
Tell us what you think. Tell us what you don't think. And, who knows? Maybe we'll have you on the show one day. It's hard to tell.
Hey, you never know.
So what do you think, Ange? What's next? We're going to kind of spend tonight. We're going to watch the rally. Maybe come back, talk a little bit about that afterwards.
And yeah, absolutely. I think even with the convention, you really didn't see Vance and Trump together until the very end. So it's going to be really nice to see them, how they're going to build off of each other and what each other has to say. I think that's going to be a good time.
Absolutely.
And
I
then,
think that's what we need to do.
keeping up
what
with
about
the events.
Oh, go ahead. You go.
Oh, sorry, Dad. I was going to say, and keeping up with the events on, the Biden debacle, as well as any developments that come up with the shooter and the assassination attempt. Sorry, I can't even talk. It's all just flowing in there. But yeah, what were you going to say?
No, I just said probably a good idea. I'd like to put on a special episode 3 maybe once we get through tonight. Kind of recap how the rally went, and again, like you said, this is the first chance we're going to get to see post convention both our candidates together, see what they have to say, see how they play off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think the choice is fantastic. That's my opinion. Like I said in our first episode, I would have not, if I'd put a paycheck on it, I wouldn't be buying groceries this week. But I think it's a good choice. I think JD will do an amazing job. And I only hope that there is a vice presidential debate real soon.
Oh, please, Lord. That's all I got. I've been praying that, Dad. Oh my goodness gracious! You thought? Okay, now I have to get this off my chest real quick. If you thought Trump versus Hillary was popcorn and snacks worthy, get ready, folks, because I think the real popcorn getter is going to be Vance versus Kamala Harris. I don't know.
I
Something's telling
disagree.
me.
I disagree with one thing. I don't think it's a popcorn night. I think it's a pizza and wings night.
Oh, this vice presidential debate coming up.
Yes.
You mean?
Yes.
Oh my! I think you might be right because fireworks are going to be flying. Whew.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Get that heartburn medicine, people.
And maybe Kamala will wear something other than a black suit.
Well,
Then
one
she
can always
takes
hope,
something
I
else
guess.
out of the closet. But that's just my observation as an old guy.
Oh boy!
All right, guys, we've gotten a little bit off the kilter here. I hope you enjoyed today's show. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Angie, thank you so much again for coming on in. I know we're enjoying doing this, and to say it's a work in progress is probably an understatement. By the way, hope you like the big flag behind me. I was digging that.
It's looking good.
I'm telling you what, it is all about this country, and we're all on the same team, folks. And if we don't come together, as President Trump said, and fight this battle, and I'm not talking about a physical battle, but fighting the battle of these things, that injustices are going on in this country, we will fall together. And Old Glory still means something.
Right.
So, God and country. So with that said, I think
Absolutely.
what we'll do is we'll call it a show. It's been an hour. And we will get together possibly, it would have to be in the next day or so or late tonight. So who knows? We may be back with a special report sometime this evening. It's hard to tell. But thank you all for coming out.
You never know. Stay tuned.
And we appreciate our subscribers. Please subscribe. Please like the videos. Please do all the YouTube stuff. Push the buttons. Click the bells. Get notified. There you go. Hit them bells and hit them things and make it all happen, because we enjoy being here. We enjoy putting this on and telling you a little bit about what we find out, and as we're paging through all this stuff in this electrified political season. So you all have a good rest of the day.
Oh, yes.
Angie, final words?
Thanks for stopping by. Dad, thanks for putting this on, and God bless America.
I got that right. God bless America. Absolutely. All right, folks. We'll see you at the next episode, and thanks again for coming out. Thank you for the guys that I know will come out and watch this video after it hits the line and gets posted. Have a great evening. We'll see you at episode 3, folks. God bless America.
See ya.